Well, talk about distractions. I'm nightmare. My internet's playing up. I've just spent 10 minutes recording a video, speaking into a microphone that hadn't switched on. I've now been kicked out of my studio. The computer's ran an update and seems to be okay. However, won't open the browser, won't connect. And then I started recording another video. The door knocked, Amazon turned up, so I had to cut that one. It's just real world problems. I mean, it's the world's full of it, isn't it? Something I wanted to 5 minutes. I wanted to just put a little something here together, so I could stitch in a couple of other videos that I took yesterday. It's taken me 45 minutes, and my coffee's gone cold. Anyway, what am I worrying about? Well, whilst I'm now talking to my phone and I'm not sort of here, I can sort of do one of them. What I did yesterday is I was sat in the same space here yesterday. I jumped off a lecture, and I come to realise that I've had a couple of days of absolute distraction. I've just allowed them in. Phone, social media, news, Googling, wormholing, YouTube, all sorts. I mean, I've got done what I've needed to get done. I haven't necessarily let it affect my life, but it has affected my mood, and it's sort of left me a sense of almost counterproductivity, and such like. So what I decided to do yesterday was, rather than reach for YouTube or Reels or social media anytime I felt a little bit distracted, I would record something, and it was for myself so I could watch it back. But I've decided to stitch it all together. It might not make sense. You'll know at the end of this video. What I will say is the idea of this is to build on that sense of shared experience. Okay, I certainly don't record these and hope to offer you a solution to a long feigning problem. There's no there's no quick fix to this. This is basically me experiencing my life and trying to sort of show you that we all go through this weird world together in different ways and such like. So my aim really is more so, if there's something that I take out of it, it can possibly relate to something else out there. But I certainly, this isn't advice or such like. But here's a little bit of an insight into my sense of distraction. I don't really know. Does that make sense? Probably doesn't. Doesn't need to. So for me, and if you learn or gain something from it, then that's even better. Anyway, prepare yourself. This is a wild. It's not really. Actually, it's probably quite boring. But it does show that we are all prone to distraction, and distraction is such a broad category. I am going to do more work on it. I'm going to build on some concepts, I think, and we'll see what comes of it. Cheers now. Keep tuned. How are we all? I don't know if you picked that up on the mic. That's the dog outside the door. That wasn't rude sounds coming from me. Firstly, nice to see you all. I feel like I haven't done anything. I haven't said hello for ages. I have all these grand plans, and then I'd like to say life takes hold. But it does actually. I suppose it does take hold. Very focused on other things, and I'm very distracted as well. I put a little post up about distractions. God, yesterday, and it's dead funny. I don't know when this video will go out, so, but I don't half get the kids. I mean, my youngest is 4. Her mind is like, she starts something, puts it down, I mean, it's probably the same for every 4-year-old. I'm not trying to make out that she's any different. However, one of the things I constantly say to her, stay on task. Right, come on, stay on task. And And the eldest, I mean, well, the two of them, I constantly will start a conversation, and then, as any teenager does nowadays, and I'm always constantly managing them for attention and scrolling on the phones and giving into the digital world. And do you know what? Yesterday I got nothing done. I sat here for a lecture. I already had YouTube up because the world's falling to pieces. And then the lecture ended. And to be honest, I mean, it was a skills lecture, so I did. Oh, there's a rabbit in the background. I live in a zoo. I literally live in a zoo. There's a rabbit just jumped into the screen. I love it. Just oxytocin everywhere. Just animals to stroke. Um, but yeah, so I was very focused in on that. However, I then just went, and I was hooked in with a little bit of news. And next thing is, it was 12 o'clock. I kind of proud myself away. And I mentioned this to Kelly later on. In the evening, I said, just been distracted all day. Even kind of to what I was listening to in a very short history podcast on quick changing subjects last night in work, rather than listening to some of those sort of the longer form books and stuff that I have on there, which I'm not sure what the rabbit's doing. Which is unusual normally, because I had a little bit of sort of stuff I needed to get done, and normally I just bang something on for a couple of hours. Oh yeah, and it leads into this and what I want to do, and it kind of, so how to word it. You've got a lot of ideas, possibly desires, we could call them. I mean, even the ones that sit there on the back of the subconscious, you know, oh, I want to achieve this, or I'd like to go and, well, I suppose like I did, I want to go and get the degree. I mean, I'm now in the position of doing that. That sat there for quite a while, and and what they do is it digs away at you somewhat. I'm talking about distractions. I've just had a ping, and I want to go and look. That's where my mind is at the moment. But I have so much I want to do with, I suppose I keep talking about the podcast. I've got articles I've not written. I've got a load of research on what I'm trying to build, the concept that I'm trying to put together, really, the idea of the HERD. I've now isolated 13 individual subcategories in health, and I've got loads of stuff to really sort of go and drive in on that, and sort of hopefully bring a little bit of that here, and that offers a little bit of value to you. I want to start applying it to myself. Joined the gym, but I've not been. I've got the running shoes upstairs. I've a marathon to train for. I've not even taken them out of the box. There's all of these sort of grand plans. I suppose. I mean, my frustration is I'm distracted and I'm not achieving what I want to achieve, and what I know, or what I hypothetically know, or what I hypothesize to achieve, I suppose. My perception of what that'll be. I'm the achievements within the self, all this new, and it isn't a new year, new me thing. It isn't. It links in with the health side of this, and there's a lot more to it. And then there's a charity run, and then there's a charity cycle. So I'm going to get that done this year. I wanted to do it last year, didn't achieve it because me dad took sick. So there's all sorts of little things to achieve. And you know what? It's so easy to just let those distractions sit in, isn't it? It just is. I suppose Christmas has been and come and gone, and that always takes up a little bit of time. And my temptation now to just put this is why one of the reasons I put the camera on it is I was about to click onto the tube. I'm not. I'm going to end this video. I'm going to go and get a few things done. I'm going to go and tackle a little job. My mother's a job that I should have been at yesterday, and I rolled up at 12:30 and did what I needed to do. But it was anyway. So I'm going to make a vow that, as I say, I don't know when this is going to go out. I might link it in something else. I might get it out. I am throwing my categories together. I'm going to put a shout out for the podcast. I mean, look, there is ideally a way I want that conversation and those sort of to go. I don't particularly want to pick any particular guests or anything like that. I'll speak to anyone. If you've got anybody out there, if you've got something you want to come on and waffle about for an hour, let's just open up the floor and have some conversations. That's cool. I will be trying to obviously fish for particular types of people that suit what I'm looking on achieving, as selfish as that is. This really will be for me. These conversations will be for me. I am going to put them out there because of my own opinions, really, regarding the idea of shared experience. If I can learn something from it, then one of the however many billion people in the world that have access to this, not necessarily saying that that's the amount of people that are going to sit and watch it, but the people that have access to it, if I can get something from it, I'm sure that other people will. I'm a sucker for learning. So, I mean, I'm intrigued to learn about anything, really. So that also feeds into it. I've got the power to do so. I've got a web feed and a camera and, the internet and computers and a website and all of that stuff. So I can really just, with regards to this, I can indulge myself, can't I? I've put the effort in and I've put this together. So, and I've got a studio rabbit, by all accounts, who's probably going to chew through the internet wire and everything's going to go down, and that'll be the sign of my podcast. But that said, I'm going to check off. I've got rather distracted in what I'm talking about, and it just feeds in, doesn't it? Like this idea of distractions and such like. So anyway, I can hear the rabbit on the microphone. I don't know what he's doing. Oh, he's jumping on and off scales. He's just weighing himself. Just a month after Christmas as well. Anyway, guys, appreciate you all, and I will speak to you all soon. Cheers now. Oh, I was like that. I don't know where we might. And that's another thing I'm distracted about. I want to get rid of it. Like that. Gone. But that is going to be another challenge this year. Anyway, I'm putting that out there. Watch this space. Are we all right? Just checking it. I've caught myself doing it again. I've thrown a little bit of undercoat around at my mum's. Got the dog sat there quietly, enjoying life on the couch. Hence why I look very dusty and I've got a bit fluff in my beard and I look a little bit washed out. But I've just stopped for a cup of coffee. I haven't even made the cup of coffee. I'm sat down. I was scrolling on my phone. I had a email come through. So as you do, I just perched on the edge of the chair, phone out the pocket. Read the email, probably 2 seconds. Actually, was nothing relevant, and to be honest, it just caught my attention because it pinged and I couldn't see what it was, so I opened it up. Next thing is, I noticed there's another notification, it's Facebook, open Facebook up, boom, 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 boom. And I'm probably 10 minutes. When really what I could have been doing was possibly, what could I have done in 10 minutes? I mean, I could have finished doing what I'm doing. I kind of have finished upstairs, so could have had my lunch, could have drank my coffee and got back to it, could have read a chapter of a book. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to do much research, but I certainly would have been able to pick out a paper, read a couple of pages, write a few little notes. I mean, 10 minutes is quite a lot of time. I know I've tried to fill it with a recording before, although I can talk forever. But what is it? Why? What? I mean, I've got no... So, I suppose with the likes of this distraction in this moment, I'm guessing really, as there's a little bit of a little dopamine hits, I suppose, with Facebook, isn't it? It's little videos, little bum, bum, bum. Gratitude right in the moment, rather than, it's like that instant positive reward, instant positive reward, when I suppose sustained effort on something else possibly prolongs the reward. Maybe you sort of, it feels like it's a larger expanse or exertion of energy in order to retrieve the reward, because the reward isn't there, because you can't see it, so it's hypothetical reward, it's not real, you haven't received it yet, and until you receive it, it doesn't register as being rewarding. I mean, there's lots of, but it's easy, isn't it? And I suppose I share a little bit of empathy with the kids. Because I'm on them. I'm big with sort of like attention span, and I worry. I grew up in a world where I suppose I was aware before technology, and then I grew up with the rise of technology, and I was in my adulthood when social media became a thing, and so kind of I feel like I've got a few more barriers, but then I catch myself doing it, and I think to myself, "Oh, Pon, you get off your horse, you know, like who do you think you are? You know, you preach high heaven about staying on task and navigating distraction and prioritizing this and getting that done first and allowing yourself reward time, and yet I've no accountability because I'm an adult, so like I imply my accountability onto them. However, I can sit here and doom scroll because there's me and the dog, and it's that self-accountability, I suppose. Why don't I hold myself to the same standard? I don't know. It's really. What were we talking about? So there we go again. It's turned into a bit of a thing, this hasn't, and it's all started because I recorded one video this morning. So I'm going to link it all together. It might make more sense, I know. And this idea of distraction. So I've come home, I finished up at the mother's, so I was undercoating, I'm just renovating the bedroom. But I was doing a little bit of undercoating there. So, for me grumble, I didn't even make the brew in the end. I'll come home and have a brew. And come home, and Kelly's on a nurses conference, but it's all on Zoom this afternoon. It's all a bit strange. Kelly's in the house. I couldn't sit down in front of the computer. What I did, I kind of went to one of the little spots in the house that I do me contemplating. Didn't put the kettle on, so never made me brew, still not had it. And instantly went to doom scrolling again, because I'd kind of convinced myself that I had this like 10-15 minutes, half an hour, nothing to do, which is true. I mean, there's always loads to do, but I'm feeling all of this sort of incongruence, I suppose, because I've got all these ideas and things I want to tackle, and there's little barriers that are maybe even excuses, because that's all part of distraction, isn't it? And then I started. So there's another one, mind wandering, and sort of considering what the distraction is. Maybe it's just something there that's subconscious that I'm not sort of dealing with, and the distraction is because I can't sort of focus that attention, because it is sort of an attitudinal, I think. Well, there's little bits of research on that. Is it because I'm hyper focused on distractions, and maybe there's a little bit of sort of that biasy there, that I'm a little bit more prone to it? I don't know. So I'm going to utilise it, and I'm going to use it for an assignment that I've got to write and focus on, which is looking on psychological phenomena. So I'm going to use distraction, and let's do a little bit more on it. So
there's a healthy distraction. I decided I kind of needed to distract myself from distractions. So I decided to bring the dog out. It's a lovely little afternoon. I've got a bit to go and do this evening. I'm over at the school this evening, so I've got a couple of hours there, but I figured I'd have a little wander with the dog. So, and got me thinking, so I'm trying to, Eddie, up. She runs one or two ways. She's very distracted. To what a distraction actually is. And then I was like, well, if I've actually set out with intention to walk the dog, is it a distraction or is it an intention? And surely, is this a distraction for me walking the dog, which is a distraction for me thinking about distractions? And I'm in it whirlwinds. But the idea of what a distraction actually is, and really, I suppose, it would be hard to call this a distraction. I am trying to distract myself from something by doing it, but this really, I suppose, in a sense, it's really intentional. And it kind of implies by calling this a distraction would sort of, I suppose, imply that distractions themselves are intentional, and then it kind of sits in a paradox of, is it really a distraction or it's intentional? I'd like to hypothesize that distractions really aren't, I mean, to sort of imply that we are allowing ourselves to be distracted by something is almost like a failure, isn't it? It's kind of implying that we necessarily have complete control over that, and I don't think we do. I mean, I don't know, and it's not the science. I'm not certainly coming at this with any sort of level of authority, but I don't think it kind of, to my experience, is necessarily completely controllable. I think I think you can, as I've said before, mitigate it and manage it somewhat, be aware of it. If it's ever difficult, there's this thing in your pocket or in my hands that it's just, you know, sorry, I'm whistling. But yeah, who knows? I certainly will be doing a lot more research on it, so I'll share it. I mean, if anybody out there wants to jump on, give me a shout. We'll get a link out. We'll get cameras on if anybody wants to find me anything over to read or look at or anything like that, or knows anything, or even just wants to comment down there about sort of distractions, what distracts you, what you do to manage them, what are your healthy distractions, you know, walking the dog, staring at yourself on a camera phone. What are the unhealthy distractions? Staring at a camera phone. You know, is there ways to mitigate? I mean, I try and sort of do all this social media. I try and be really healthy with it, actually, and I'm putting this out because I am aware that there's a little bit more of an unhealthy drive there towards it at the moment, and I'm allowing it to creep in, and you know, I'm just trying to bring awareness to it for myself, really, and then hopefully, I suppose, actually, there's the shared experience. It's something that maybe you might recognise in yourselves, or might not. You know, either way, it's my platform, it's my outlet. It's all about me. It's dead selfish, you know. I'm only joking. It's about the dog at the moment. I am about to distract her because what she doesn't know is in my pocket is a ball. She's just running around. Look. So we've had the therapy rabbit, or the studio rabbit, and now the therapy dog. Look, but anyway, appreciate you. There we are. Let's see what comes of it, eh? I don't really know. At least I can remember what we're talking about. Heidi! Trying to drag me a tree. Best get this ball out. Appreciate you all. Cheers. Come on, pet. Oh, there you go. There's a nice little sort of something to come out of it. We're quite a nice little friendly village. I've lived here my whole life, but yeah, lots of smiles. Bumped into a lot of people I know. Bumped into a couple of people don't know, but everybody seems really sort of friendly and positive and throwing their hand up and waving hello and beating the horns, and A really nice little sort of hour. And on the flip side, an hour that's brought a little bit of clarity. So whether that translates into focus or further distraction, we don't know. But anyway, I just thought I'd share it. It's been quite a sort of nice little trundle, and as well, endorphins released. Got a little bit of the sun, solar panels. I'm going to start banging on again about that, I suppose. Exercised, dog walked. So for us, it's quite nice having a dog. It's a good excuse to get you out. However, got 3 of them, and they're all different, and they all walk different, and they all require a different level of sort of input. So that then also becomes a stress. So it's been quite nice to, you know, just enjoy it really, rather than it be another task. I feel like I picked something off. But we'll further explore it, I suppose. Who knows? Anyway, on to a winner. Let's see. Alright, team. Just a little conclusion on the day, I suppose. I've been, I'm going into darkness, hang on. Just been doing a little bit there, and I've had 3 hours of music on, and wow, I've not, I normally pop a little bit. If I've got something to do, I normally pop a book on or something a little bit on fun, but I've just had 3 hours of a playlist on. And to be honest, I actually just spent 3 hours singing my head off and dancing around, and wonderfully distracted, actually. Productive, but wonderfully distracted, and it's just a little bit of a recognition. It's just another one of those things that sort of transports you a little bit, isn't it? Music has that power to do so, and I'm a little bit thankful and sort of grateful of it this evening. Actually, I kind of needed that. I needed a little bit of something different, and it's interesting one, because obviously it's another mind wanderer, isn't it? You kind of attach loads of emotions to different tracks of music, and a lot of the music means something to me, and you reminisce and reflect. And I find music very reflective. But yeah, I'm gonna go and try and turn it into something productive. I don't know. I've got a load of videos to edit. I suppose that's one thing, to stitch all these things together, innit? Maybe write it up, journal it a little bit. Yeah. Thanks for joining the journey today, the distracted journey that it is. Hopefully I get the video done and I don't lose my time to something else, but if I do, we'll be alright, won't we? We'll get through it in the end. Appreciate you all. Thanks, team. Thanks for listening to me waffle today. I've needed it. Hopefully it's been some value anyway. Time to stay on task. Appreciate you all.